Okay, so today in class we talked about finding an inverse matrix and using row operations to do that. One application of these, and now when it's going by hand it gets a little bit tedious, we're going to do them by hand for now before we switch over to calculator. And one application we can use these for is to solve matrix equations. So for example, we have our matrix, our 2 by 2 matrix 4, -2, -1, 2 multiplies by some matrix x to equal -6, 12. We've done these where we drew out what the matrix X was and made a system of equations. Another option we can do here is essentially we're used to, think back to normal numbers that we like. If we had some equation like 2x equals 10, we know to solve this for x, you would just divide both sides by 2. Well, in this case, we can't divide the matrix out, but other option, we'll write that again, 2x equals 10. You can think divide by 2, or you can think you multiply both sides by 1/2. Other way to get rid of that 2. What that's doing when you multiply both sides, you're multiplying by the inverse. So the same holds true here for matrices. If we want to solve for x, get rid of that. If we want to solve for x, we can multiply both sides by the inverse of this coefficient matrix. So what that looks like is we can say x is equal to the inverse of 4, -7, -2, 2. So whatever that inverse matrix is, and then multiply it with -6, 12. So it should make sense that would give us an answer to the equation. What gets complicated here is we first need to find the inverse of this matrix by using the process from class today. And then after you find that inverse, you need to multiply the inverse by this other matrix. So your homework tonight is using this equation. I want you to find the inverse matrix of the 4, -2, -7, 2. Again, using the process from class today. And then once you get that product, and I'm warning you now, there are fractions involved, so use a scientific calculator to help you. Then multiply that inverse matrix by the -6, 12. I will be checking this in class tomorrow. So again, you should at least be able to find the inverse matrix and then think about what we did from last week for multiplication to get your final answer. And your final answer should be a 2 by 1 matrix, and your final answer ends up with 2 whole numbers as a hint. So the inverse matrix will have a bunch of fractions, but your final answer is whole numbers. Do that for homework tonight, bring it in tomorrow, and we'll go over it.